we've got none other than Brian Gordon, veteran, entrepreneur, God-fearing man, proud owner of Second Amendment Cigars, Guns and Gars, Ashtrays, and Tactical Society. The man, the legend. What's up?
What's up, dog? How are you?
Good. This is awesome, man. So tell me, we're live. We're going for it, bro. Cheers. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for driving through that crappy I-4 traffic.
Yeah, man. I needed this drink.
So tell me a little bit about yourself.
So, I love cigars. I love guns. I started this company about 2 years ago as far as on the cigar side of the house. The gun side of the house, I started at about 7 years ago. So I just decided to create something that I was passionate about that I could also earn a living from.
Now, did being a veteran, being in the military, you're a Marine, which is very important to distingush.
Yes, sir. Simplified. All my Marines out there.
The service side.
There's definitely a difference.
Was that a catalyst to building the tactical company?
It was, man. I was always kind of had a passion for being around guns. Yeah. So once I, after I got out, I kind of bumped my head a lot trying to figure out what I wanted to do in the world.
What'd you do in the service?
So I went in as a combat engineer. Never did the job. In the Marine Corps, you can get jobs, but you don't have. I mean, they can also put you in other places. So that's what happened to me.
Nice.
Yeah.
And veteran, so you did see some tours.
Yeah. No. Well, I didn't see any action overseas. Thank God. When I got out of the Marine Corps, like I said, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and I decided to do what I've always been good at, which was security, protection, and being around guns.
Any cool stories in the tactical realm as a civilian?
Not none that I guess I care to share about on air, but it's fun.
That means he did some cool stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Yeah.
That's how I'm going to take that.
Right.
Growing up in Miami.
Right.
It's like you need to be in the tactical world out there when I was growing up.
How was that growing up in Miami?
It was some interesting times. I was rolling around in the streets in the 80s, early 80s as a young kid. The gangs were big.
Right.
The gang wars in the backyard of my high school, my elementary school. Wow. Not in my high school necessarily, mainly in my elementary school and junior high. We had we'd get locked down, and we'd have to hide under the chairs and the tables, and it's crazy, man.
It sounds crazy, man.
Yeah.
Sound like you were in the military.
Yeah, you would see Channel 7 coming in, and back then it was Rick Sanchez.
Yeah.
And, talking about live. We're here at so-and-so cross, and another kid just got murdered, and a gang member fight, war breaking out. Damn. It was insane. Miami was the same. The 80s was, that was the drug capital of the world.
Right.
For everybody was coming in. All the cartels were coming through Miami on their speedboats, and Miami Vice.
Yeah.
That was it was funny because there's a lot of truth to that growing up there, and not everybody was exposed to it, but when you can see it and be like, hey. When you tell people I'm from Miami, they're like, oh. Back then. Now they're like, oh, you're from Miami?
Yeah.
Cool.
It's like the cool place to be now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even like it.
Yeah. When last time you been back home?
Well, I go home to visit my mom and my brother.
Mm-hmm.
Used to go and visit my dad, but he passed away. And but that's it. And I have some friends out there.
Okay.
We have a very tight group of friends that we stay together. We all came back from camping. And
where'd you guys go?
Ocala. Yeah, we take every year we call it a family trip.
Mm-hmm.
All the boys get together. I do all the cooking, and we bring cigars, alcohol, all the kids.
Yeah.
This time we had 11 of us, and we ride dirt bikes and we go camping, big bonfires. I make an extensive meal for everybody, and I've grown up with these guys. So my son is 14.
Okay.
I met some of these guys at his age. Some 30 some years ago. So like the next generation is coming in.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. It's awesome to be able to see my son and some of these, my friends' kids, and look at them and be like, man, we were that age when we met.
Yeah.
And here we are, 30 some years later, still hanging out and being as close as we were when we were kids.
Yeah, man, that's a good thing, man.
Yeah. Barbasco. Yeah, but you're not from Tampa.
No, I grew up in Manatee County, in a very small town called Rabonia, Florida. Yeah, little country town, man.
Nice.
4 dirt roads. Everybody knew everybody.
Hell
You know,
yeah.
one of those towns. If you did something bad on one street, you can get your ass whooped all the way home, and then they would call your parents and tell you, you know, what you did, and you get your ass whooped again.
There's that
So
Gordon
yeah,
kid again.
yeah. So it was one of those type of towns. You could leave your door open. Everybody knew everybody. So yeah.
So what kind of trouble did you get in there?
Man, I stayed out of trouble, man.
Nice.
I just never got caught.
Good.
Yeah, I was good. I was good at not getting caught.
That's awesome. So wait, in Manatee County.
Yeah,
Jeez. And then did you leave to the military from there?
yeah. Left and joined. Went to the Marine Corps and straight out of the Marine Corps. My first duty station was Camp Pendleton, California. So from Florida to Cali. So man, that was a culture shock for me, man. But that was one of the best times I had in my life. Going to Cali. Yeah.
Yeah, the Camp Pendleton.
San Diego.
They don't like the Marines out there, the devil dogs out there.
Nah.
You guys gave it a bad name.
Maybe just a little bit.
Yeah, I was out there. I visited a friend out there.
Yeah.
Who was he was a Marine, and became a Navy flight instructor.
Okay.
Just retired. I think he's retired 2 years now. You know, I remember visiting San Diego, and you would say that you're in the military, and they're like,
Yeah. Guys get out there and get a little wild,
Yep.
man.
"Ooh, look at this!" So, oh my gosh.
What is that?
We're working on a new recipe for the vaca frita.
Oh, that smells good, man.
You can try it.
Yeah, it smells good.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a fork.
Try a little bit.
You'll see a fork. Isn't that? How is that?
It's good, man.
I don't know. I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah,
So
right.
this is crazy. These guys are, you know, we're always evolving.
yeah.
You know, we're working on a new recipe. You know, we gotta evolve. We're always trying to push the envelope, do
Yeah.
something different. Try it. Oh yeah, it's getting there. So in order for me to change a recipe, something that's been a standard on our menu forever, takes a good 100 pounds of meat
Okay.
to go through it.
To get it right.
Oh yeah, and to make sure that every time we make it,
It's consistent.
It's the same recipe.
Got it.
So when we put it on the menu, it doesn't change.
I got you.
So when people are like, "Oh, yeah, you just make," no, it's not that easy.
Yeah.
It's like making a cigar.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
You
Trial
make a
and
cigar.
error.
Yeah. So
Till you get it right.
you obviously have knowledge of rolling cigars and
Yeah.
blending cigars.
So you want to know what's dope about, I guess, my journey with the cigars is I've only been smoking two years. So I'm very new to the industry. I don't pretend to act like I know everything about cigars,
Wow.
'cause I don't. But what I did know is when I first picked up my first cigar, I remembered the way I felt. And I know that was the only thing that kind of slowed my thoughts down. My brain is always going. You're an entrepreneur, you know, we never stop. Even when we
yeah.
sleep, we're thinking about work.
You're like,
Yeah, man. So smoking that thing is the only thing that kind of slowed me down. I just kind of fell in love with it. And I went from the actual, you know, my first smoke to having my cigar on the shelf in 6 months,
Wow.
which is, you know, kind of unheard of. in the
Impressive.
industry. Yeah. Put my mind on it, man, and I was off to the race.
that's what's
Yeah.
you know, the important part. And I tell this
Yeah.
to my kids,
Yeah,
my chefs, my partner, my managers. You know, doesn't matter how many people try to knock you off the rock.
right.
You know,
That's gonna happen,
yep. If you want to stay on that rock, you're gonna figure it out.
and it's just that simple.
Because every time you fall off, what do?
Get back up.
Yep, and try it again
That's right.
and figure it out.
Yeah,
I tell that to my son all the time. I said, look, you know, if I would have listened to one of my managers when I first started my journey as a chef,
yeah.
I would never be a chef. He said, you might want to have a career change.
Wow.
I would never hire you as a chef.
Yeah.
I mean, crazy talk.
Yeah,
You know?
that's how that cigar started. Somebody said it wasn't. I pitched the idea to someone that was already in the industry. I'll leave the name out.
Oh, man.
But I pitched the idea, you know, and the guy said, "Nah, that's not gonna work." I went home that night, stayed up till about 4 o'clock in the morning, coming up with the concept, and got it done.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's hard. People don't understand the trials you go through as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And anything you do, like, to be great at it,
Yeah.
doesn't just happen. You know,
Yeah.
I've been there. I own now, I think, 4 companies, and they're not all perfect.
Yeah.
You know, I just went to an economic class, and it kind of tells you, your company's health is always very cyclical and dependent on so many variables.
Right.
And right now, I'm working my numbers to figure out where I am, so I know where I have to be. And I don't sleep.
Right.
I'll be we'll go on vacation and I'm working.
Yeah.
My phone will ring. I got my phone right here. It's on silent, but and I'm in my own 4 walls. But at any given time, my phone will ring. These guys will tell you,
It doesn't stop.
No, and it's always something.
Yeah.
And every obstacle that presents itself, you have to have you gotta overcome it.
Yeah.
It's like going to battle.
Yeah.
It's like training. You went through some of the hardest training.
Yeah.
And if that didn't prepare you, if that didn't change your mindset, what else would you attribute it to?
Right. Let me ask you this: what is your passion behind what you do? What keeps you to continue doing this on the days that you might not feel like doing it?
So, I'm glad you asked that. It's compounding, because failure
Okay.
is one of my biggest motivators.
Okay.
It always has been. I don't want to fail.
Right.
But my passion for pleasing and my love for people is what continues to make me push the envelope.
Okay.
For example, look how long it took me to find the tequila.
Right. But you got it.
But I got it.
Yeah, and it made me happy, and I appreciate
So
that.
I'm going to make sure I find it, because that's just what I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want something, you're my guest.
Yes.
I'm going to make sure I get it for you. I'm going to take care of you.
I appreciate
and that's the fundamental value that I bring to the table, is that I will find a way to take care of you.
Right.
If I tell you I'm going to do it, well, I'm going to fucking do it.
That says something.
Yeah.
That's a lost art these days.
Yep.
And it's unfortunate. I grew up when my grandfather, a deal was shaking a man's hand and looking him in the eyes.
Yeah.
And that was the deal.
Yeah.
That was it. You know what I mean?
How you shake somebody's hand.
That was it. That was the deal.
You got to watch your back.
You know what I mean? And now it's just, that's considered bad business now.
Yep.
And that's just how the world is going. But yeah, I appreciate that. And the reason why I asked that, because I ask myself that sometimes. You know what I mean? What is that thing that continues to make you push the envelope? And you're right, it always changes.
Yep.
Yeah.
It does. And I bet that right now you're working really hard to make a name for yourself.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
in an industry that the good old boys of the industry are like, yeah, we don't want you.
Yeah.
We're good where we are.
But the thing is, man, I'm too stupid. I don't know how to quit.
Gosh.
I don't know how
You're
to.
the second person that has said the same thing. You know who the first is?
Who?
Me.
Yeah, man.
I say that all the time.
I don't know how to quit, man. I just don't.
I get that all the time. People tell me, you're doing too much.
Right.
And I'm like, but am I?
Yeah.
Because while I'm pushing over here, I'm figuring out what I should be doing over here.
Right.
And if I was only focused here, when you step back, you don't realize it. That it's only when you step back that you realize, oh shit, I should have done this.
Yeah.
But when you're in it, it's hard to focus.
And even when you try to take your foot off the gas, you still feel bad. I don't know if that's how you feel, but for me,
I just had this conversation a couple days ago.
Yeah.
The owner of Cigar Life,
Okay.
Mario Medina.
Yeah.
He just said the same thing. He's like, it feels weird taking my foot off the gas.
Yeah.
Because he's going on 8 years. Mm-hmm. This is my 10th year. Opened as 1961.
Wow.
And he said that. You take the foot off the gas and you feel terrible.
Yeah.
Like, man, I got to do something. I got to be there. When I come in through these 6 walls, I do the same thing I've done from day one. I open the refrigerator. I look at all the food. I say hi to everybody in the staff. I check all the ingredients. I take an inventory with my eyes. I go on the hotline. I taste the beans. I taste the rice. I taste the fish. I taste the stocks, and I have chefs.
Yeah.
But, I'm that last layer of defense. My business partner, Emerson, does the same thing. He comes in, gives crap to the guys in the kitchen, checks everything in the front, all the checks and balances, texts the guys when they don't do something right. But it's a routine that never stops.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like the day that I can't stop that.
Yeah.
I can't stop that, and I want more. I always want more. I'm happy with what I have. I have a beautiful family. We're blessed to have. We have 133 employees, so I'm super blessed with the company. But I always want more.
Yeah.
Because I also have teammates that I want more for. I love these guys.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, how can I help him get a house? And how can I help him get this? And now, I get wrapped up and I get pulled into these projects.
Yeah.
And just visited a school here in town, Philip O'Brien Elementary. And I was appalled how bad the upkeep of the school was. So I'm actually going to write to the district superintendent about it, because I went into the bathroom and these kids have to use these bathrooms. And one of the teachers kind of walked me through it.
Yeah.
She said, well, let me just show you what this. I said, I want to see this with my own eyes.
Yeah.
We just donated 60 meals this morning
To the kids over
to all
there?
the teachers,
Okay.
because nobody appreciates them. They've been like kind of stocked away in a corner, and the teachers
Right.
need some appreciation, just like the kids.
Yeah. Most definitely.
So
Yeah.
I opened the door to the bathroom, and the smell of urine
Wow.
and all the rust on the ceiling. And they have gutters with plants growing out of them.
Yeah, that's unacceptable.
The cafeteria, disgusting.
Wow.
And I'm like, man, kids have to eat here.
Yeah.
Like, you have no self-respect. And they have, I'm going to get some hate mail for it, but like, I hate unions
Yeah.
for this reason. They don't say they have a union, but they treat it like a union. The custodians, the principal doesn't have autonomy over the custodians. You have to call their boss, and their boss is all the way in the what is that called, the school board district, and that's where their boss is, to get them to come back and make them do something. Principal can't tell the custodians what to do.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's BS.
Yeah.
Mind you, these kids, some of them, I was told, come from homeless homes. They're homeless.
Right.
40 kids in that school are homeless, and they help them. And I mean, come on, give them a clean bathroom.
Yeah.
So it's those projects that I feel empowered that I can do something about it, and I have a voice, and I'm gonna do something about it.
Right.
That I get behind it. And this was yesterday, and this morning we provided the meals to the teachers, and I found out what district I have to deal with.
Yeah.
In District 1, I'm coming for you, but this is crazy.
Yeah,
you know.
man.
So, you being an entrepreneur, I've seen your Facebook. I
Yeah.
see how you like to help others, and some of the programs you invest in.
Yeah.
Tell me about some of that.
So,
Tell me about some of that.
A few years ago, probably about 5 years ago, I started an organization called GERM, which stood for Giving Essential Resources to Minorities. So what I used to do with that was I would help kids that came from single-parent homes get into college. I no longer have that organization because I'm getting ready to open up a new one, but we provided like 6 kids scholarships to be able to go to college.
Nice.
So we did that. We've done some stuff. Most recent was for the storm victims here in Tampa, in the Tampa Bay
saw
area.
that.
Yeah, so we raised some money for those guys. I partner with a nonprofit organization called the Heart Foundation. Shout out to Gary Hartfield and his team. They do a lot of stuff for people in the community in Tampa. So I teamed up with those guys. We raised some money to help those people get back in their homes. So I'm always trying to do something. If I can help, if I see a need, then I try to help as well. So I get it. You know what I mean? I do wish that more people would kind of get involved in the community. You know, I think people look at, especially what's going on in the world with politics, people always look at the president as the president is the person that's supposed to fix all the world's problems. Yeah. It doesn't start there. It starts in the home.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I think people are getting outside of they're getting outside of not understanding the simple concept of taking care of what's in your household first. I think if people did that more, I think that would take care of a lot of our problems that we have out in society. You know what I mean?
That's 100%
You know what
accurate.
I mean? Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's the foundation of the family nucleus. You know, it starts there. And if you're good at the home, 99% of the time, that transpires into your kids.
Yeah.
Your kids do well. That can continue to grow, and other families. You know, it's when you don't do that. And
Right.
you know, I'm glad you said that. It's important to be able to give back. You know, that's you wanna harp on my strings. That's one way to get me to move the needle on anything.
Yeah.
Is show me how bad kids can have it, and that's what they did. They know how to get me.
Yeah.
And like I'm so motivated now about that.
Yeah.
And I saw that on your page. I was like, man, this is great. This guy likes to give back to his community.
Yeah, man. I'm always trying to do something, man. You know, not to get all sobby, but for me, it's I wasn't
Get sobby, bro. No, yeah.
I wasn't always. I'm gonna tell you, I wasn't always that guy. And what I mean by that is, it took something tragic in my life to get me to understand the perspective. It changed my perspective of life. So my brother was murdered 5 years ago.
Oh man, I'm so sorry.
And that was my best friend. So for me,
In Tampa.
he lived in Kissimmee. I lived in Tampa. So and that was my best friend.
Man.
So for me, that shook my world upside down so much to where I really didn't, bro. I didn't have a clue. I'm just gonna be honest with you, man. I didn't know what the hell was going on. I was lost. And the only thing that really motivated me to do what I'm doing now, right, was the promises that I made to him. Like me and him I made a lot of promises to him about, you know, what we were gonna do together. So for me, it's not a matter of quitting, because I can't quit if I wanted to anyway, because I made these promises to my brother, you know. And I've also experienced some things, you know, earlier in life when I was in the Marine Corps, promises that I made to God that were things that I was gonna do if He got me out of certain situations. And I feel like I have to, you know, honor those promises.
Those, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's
100%.
bigger than me. So for me, you know, helping people, I feel like that's the best way to make God smile sometimes, you know, especially when we go through our funk. Because I know you've been an entrepreneur. We have days, man, where people just don't see.
Yep.
You know what I mean? There's times where people don't know how we're going to pay payroll, or how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? People don't see that. Nope. All they see is you show up. You know, they see you in the suit. They see what you might drive. They have this perception of you, but they don't see the real, you know, back and forth struggle that we have internally in our minds of how we're going to do things for other people.
That's the best way to articulate.
Yeah.
I don't think you're right. People don't see that.
Yeah.
And it's insane.
It's insane.
You know, and those, I'm so glad you said that. Those promises, you know, for me, God's a huge proponent of my life.
Most definitely.
And I preach that. It's on the way to my kitchen.
Yeah.
I got the Virgin Mary on one side and the Last Supper on the other.
Yeah.
One was given to me by my brother, and the other one by one of my favorite priests and friends. He's like, I want a gift for your restaurant.
Right.
And I put it up there. I'm not afraid of it. And you know, we hire everybody.
Yeah.
And the last Christmas party I had, last year's, my priest came to the party. And it's crazy because I had some staff members who were like, I'm like,
what's this priest doing here?
Yeah. I'm like, hey man, he's just another guy.
Yeah.
You know, he's my friend.
Yeah.
And he's also my priest.
Yeah.
And he's invited to my party. And it threw a lot of people off kilter.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm glad because it makes people think.
Oh yeah.
You know? And you know, I tell my kids, I preach to my kids all the time. I was like, you know, whatever you do, even if I'm not looking, He is.
Right.
You know? So remember that.
Yeah.
It's not always about me getting you in trouble or you're doing something wrong.
Right.
you know, what are you doing in the eyes of him?
And that's the integrity piece.
Yep.
Yeah.
I tell my staff all the time about integrity, and I always bring God into it. But I always tell them, you know, integrity is what you do when nobody's looking.
Right.
You know, and it's like these guys, you know, perfect example in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Let's say this is my chicken, and it's black, burnt on one side.
Yeah.
So what I do, they flip it over, right?
Right.
And then they try to serve it. That happens at so many restaurants.
Yeah.
And I tell my guys, I was like, it's integrity is knowing that you burnt it. I said, it's burnt.
Right.
The customer's going to taste it, and it's going to taste burnt.
Right.
I said, what if that was your dad out there that you're serving that to?
Yeah.
What is he going to say about your meal? And they're like, oh, shit.
Think about it that way. Yeah.
I was like, you know, you overcooked that salmon. We have a thermometer. We put thermometers to everything.
Okay.
I'm like, so what if you were sending that out to your mom or your dad? He was like, hey, son, make me your best dish. And you send them out that overcooked salmon. Would you do that? They're like, no. So don't do it over here.
Right.
You know? And, it's integrity is huge. And people forget that.
Oh, yeah.
Man, that's deep, man.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
so sorry about your brother.
Yeah. Yeah, man. You know.
Was he one of the ones that talked to you about these?
No. Not about necessarily about actually the cigars weren't even a thing back then, man.
Really?
No, man. So like I said, it was 2 years ago. You know, I just started smoking cigars. We just, talked about starting a business together.
Cool.
You know, so and everything I do is wrapped around a passion or a purpose. So the security piece came before anything, which was protection, which is a position I was always in, whether that be as a kid. You know, unfortunately, I was put in a position where I had to protect my mom. Whether that be my mom, whether that be my friends, my brother, that's the one thing that God always placed me. I always asked, like, why am I always
protector?
Yeah, and it, honestly, it makes me feel good. I feel good doing that. You know what I mean? And like I said, when I got out of the Marine Corps, I struggled trying to figure out what jobs I want to do, what position, what did I want to do in life, and I couldn't figure it out. And that was just the one thing I asked, like, man, God, look, help me out with this one. And it was the one thing that I love to do, which is protect. You know, and that's why I'm here.
That's so awesome, man.
Yeah, man.
What you were just saying is as heavy as this ashtray, bro.
Yeah, man. 7.62 pounds.
7.62 pounds?
Yes, sir.
Dude, this is beautiful, dude.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Guns and Gars.
Yeah, man. Stainless steel.
We want all the smoke. I love this, dude.
Yeah.
007. Man, this is sick. Ha! I love it. I just saw Trump.
Yeah, so that particular ashtray is called the election year edition, and like
inauguration's coming right around the corner.
Like him or not, that is our president. You know, if at the time as vice president elect, if Harris would have won, then she would have had she would have been on the ashtray. So, well,
that's good that you're not just going to pick sides.
No, man, I don't really get into. I try not to get into politics. I'm more into people. You know what I mean? For me, it's about, like we talked about earlier, it's about starts in your home. Don't talk about presidency. You don't know who your kid's principal is. If you don't know who your
so well said.
If you don't know who your mayor is.
To the restaurant.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah. My mayor, I kind of want to beat him up sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you, bro. Yeah. He's gonna come in here and be like, "Really, Marcos?"
No, I got you, man.
I hold people accountable.
Yeah.
All the time.
Right.
Because I want people to hold me accountable. And when they hold me accountable, hey, man, if I screw up, I'll be the first one to apologize.
And it's that simple. Fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's don't get mad about it.
How can we fix it?
Yeah. I love this, man.
Yeah.
So tell me, how did you get started on the ashtrays?
Yeah. So with the ashtray, man, like I wanted to create something that will live on way past me. So what better than a big piece of American metal? You know what I mean? American steel. And this piece will be here way beyond, both of us, right? And it also represents my brand. My brand being the Second Amendment. It's in the shape of the 1911 gun, which is one of the most historic firearms in our country. So what better way to represent that by creating an ashtray for the cigar aficionados.
So how many different types do you have? You have two colors here.
Yeah, so this one, the one you're touching right now is stainless steel. The one over here is going to be the bronze. And we also have a aluminum version that'll be coming out here within the month, which is a little bit more economical for the people that
aluminum version.
Yeah. It's gonna be a high end aluminum version.
Is it gonna be heavy?
Yeah, it's gonna be heavy. Not as heavy as the stainless steel, but I wanted to create a product for people that maybe can't also afford, the stainless steel version. So I want to create something that they can have as well.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's about sharing the wealth.
Sharing the wealth.
Not
man.
everybody can afford it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
That goes into a lot of the good entrepreneurs.
Yes.
That's a bad way to say it. A lot of the entrepreneurs out there that have a product they want to be able to cast a big net.
Right.
Everybody wants to be known
for
that one thing. But not everybody can afford that one thing.
Right.
So you kind of pigeonhole yourself, and I think it's a smart idea to put yourself and bring in an aluminum product.
Right.
That will feel the same weight, the same girth.
Right.
As this ashtray, and people can buy it because I think it's a sick, and I'll say it, a badass ashtray.
I appreciate that, man.
What is this going to cost me?
So that one's going to cost you about $2,000.
$2,000.
Yeah, that's $2,000 ashtray. And I don't think a lot of people understand what has to go into.
Tell me, man. Tell me.
To milling a piece like that. So
look at that, bro. This thing is badass, bro.
You're defined by tradition and character. Welcome home. So you deserve our 1911 collection, made for the men that demand the best.
It's the machine time, right? And I don't know if you've ever tried to cut steel before, but it's a very timely process.
I've only cut wind.
Yeah, but the material alone is super expensive. Wow. As you know,
you said American steel.
Oh yeah.
And it's got a QR code. Yeah. This is pretty badass. 2,000 each one of them are. Or
yeah,
is that a different price?
For these models, these both are around $2,000. The aluminum version will be closer, a little bit under $1,000. So for the
well, that's good. Yeah. It's $900.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not going anywhere.
No, man.
Have you burned it and?
Bro, these things ain't going nowhere. That's steel, man.
Shit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to buy me one.
Yeah.
You have to give me the Marcos special.
Oh, I'll hook you up.
Hell yeah. Dude, this thing is sick.
Yeah,
man. I love this, man. This is badass. So, I guess what came first, the chicken
or the egg?
Or the egg. So I'm assuming the ashtray came first.
No, the cigars did.
Oh, and then you're like, fuck, I gotta know where to put it.
The cigars did, man. The cigars.
I gotta ash this shit. I gotta know where to ash. Motherfuckers, I'm making my own ashtray.
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna have my own cigar.
Lighters.
Oh, dude, you took the words out of my mouth. I was like,
lighters.
No shit.
Yeah. Here's the lighter.
Oh, look at that. And it's got a suppressor.
Yeah.
Dude, that is so badass.
Yeah, man. The cigars.
Woo! I just burned myself.
You really did, didn't you?
Yeah. I went backwards. I thought it was so I got my contacts on.
Damn, man.
And I thought
that wouldn't have been good on the air, man.
It was. Look at that.
Shit.
Look at that. That's for some reason.
Yeah, it has a lever where you can put it down.
Well, I have my contacts on.
Okay.
I thought that was where where you put the. That's fine. That's not. That is insane.
Yeah, man.
This is badass.
Yeah.
So the sticker extra.
What's that?
Or did you put the sticker on there?
No, the sticker's on there.
It comes with it?
Yeah, it comes with it.
Bro, this is so cool.
Yeah.
I love this thing.
Yeah, Corona Cigar is probably my they're my main distributor of the lighters.
Man, look at that. And I can hold it.
Yeah. And it has a lever on the side. You can turn it up and down.
Is this? I can't. I don't know why my eyes are. Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. These guys are laughing back there.
Yeah. Because you almost caught yourself on fire, bro. There you go.
So you started the cigars.
Yeah. So cigars started.
Gosh, look at that. Look at that thing. It looks like it's growing. It's like a pimple.
Yeah, man. that thing is done, man.
Yeah. It's okay, bro. Dude, you know how many jackets? I buy jackets because I love them, man.
That's a nice jacket too, man.
It was.
You got that in the 3X, man.
I'm gonna be walking around like this. I'll get you one.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get you one.
I would love to have one.
I'll get you one.
I'll rock it.
Yeah. These are badass.
Yeah, they are,
bro. I'll get you one and I'll send it to you.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, bro. I listen. My wife won't buy me a white shirt.
Why, you gonna drop food on it?
Every fucking time, bro.
I do it too.
Like,
I'm like that with cigars, man. Ashing.
She is so pissed off. Like, we were gonna shoot at my house, right? Mm-hmm. And she's so mad because the last time we were there, just hanging out, ashes were flying around.
Yeah.
We got on the couch, the outdoor couch.
Yeah.
And there's little holes everywhere.
Damn.
And she's like, yeah. I'm like, honey, we've had this for like 4 years. but she doesn't care.
Yeah.
That's her couch.
Yeah, man, you messing up, man.
So now we're at the doghouse. We're gonna go out by the fire pit. That's where we gotta smoke cigars.
That's the best place, really, man.
Yeah.
I smoke around my fire pit all the time.
But sometimes it's nice to just smoke right, by the pool area.
Yeah, man.
And nope, not anymore.
Yeah, did you blame it on Trey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah.
That's what you should do.
Yeah. Trey's the fucking scapegoat for everything.
Yeah.
Trey did it, bro.
Yeah.
Anything happens. So, how did you meet the team? Loudmouth over here.
So it was a couple ways,
Chomper
man.
over here.
So actually, man, like I reached out to Trey a while ago via email. I think we went back and forth, and I saw his prices. I was like, "Fuck that," right? So
and then you wait, but then you're like, "Well, fuck, my ashtray is $2,000." Like maybe that's not so bad.
And then I was a couple of my friends that I know over at Cigars Direct. One of the guys, he said, "Brian, I got a guy, man, but he ain't cheap." And at the point, man, I had went through 2 or 3 different videographer guys, and they couldn't nail what I wanted. You know what I mean? I'm like to the point to where I paid these people, and I didn't like it, and I wouldn't put it out.
I feel like everybody's a fucking videographer, bro.
Everybody's getting over in that game
try
right
this?
now. No, I haven't, not yet. Let me finish this one.
Oh, man, you haven't finished? Yeah, I feel like an alcoholic.
Don't be.
I'm not. But yeah, keep going.
So I was introduced.
Yeah.
So he gave me a number. I text this guy, which is Trey. I text Trey, and then Trey gives me his email. Shoot me an email, and I look. And guess what? It's the same guy. It's the same damn person I had emailed before when I said F that. It was Trey.
You're like, fuck.
So it brought me back to Trey again.
You're like, this
Yeah,
motherfucker.
man. So it was kind of like, all right, man. I got to go ahead and get it done. Let me go ahead and pay it, get it right, and be finished with it.
So, rumor had it
Yeah.
that you were like, I've never been happy with any motherfucker out there.
Right. I haven't.
No?
They nailed it.
They nailed it.
They nailed it, though.
No way.
They
Are you,
nailed
are you
it.
saying that because I'm here?
Nah, man. I think you know I don't bullshit.
That's badass,
Yeah,
man.
No, they
How did they
nailed
nail it? What was like,
So-
what did you feel like, man, this is what they did right? Because
Yeah.
I get it, man. This is why I brought them together.
Yeah. So it was just the point, man, of them, how they asked questions, right? They asked me what were some of the things that, some of the hurdles that I had with the previous guys that I worked with, which let me know they're asking the right questions so they don't make the same damn mistake,
Yeah.
right? And then
That was fucking Trey, wasn't it?
Right, yeah, it was Trey. And then it went from that to, all right, this is what we can do, this is what I'm going to do, and this is when I'm going to do it by. So for me, having that structure in place, and then you met those timelines and deadlines, so I was like, all right.
They went,
Yeah, it made me feel at ease. And then when they brought me in the office, I came to go see the video for the first time, and I sat and I was like, oh shit, man. I was just thinking like, it's gonna be something. I hope it's not bullshit.
these motherfuckers.
I was
from
just like, man, I hope it's
Podunk,
because
Lakeland.
I've gone through this shit before. You know what I mean? I
Oh,
was like,
listen,
man,
bro, you're preaching to the fucking choir.
I was like, man, I hope this shit is not trash.
You're preaching to the choir.
And I sat down, and when the video first came on, the hook had me. The hook came on. I was like, oh shit. And I'm watching the video play out. You know, I'm like, okay, yeah, these guys nailed it. I was very happy with what they did, man. Very.
You know what? I'll tell you one of my favorite things about them, and it drives me nuts because I'm a control freak.
Yeah.
And these guys are always like, well, this is what you need to do. I'm like, don't tell me what I got to do,
Yeah.
bro. I know what I got to do.
Yeah.
They're like, no, this is what you got to do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, stop telling me what I got to do.
Right.
Like, I'm going to do what and I do what they tell me to do, but it takes me a minute.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to lie. We sit in the studio, and they're like, yeah, no. And it's because I can't get it out of my head that
Yeah.
these motherfuckers are telling me what to do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to tell you what to do. You know? But they know their shit.
They do,
They
man.
know what to do, and man, that's great to hear. That's
Yeah.
refreshing.
Yeah, man.
I haven't had anybody on the podcast
Yeah.
that has had an experience with Studio 61
Oh, I'm the first.
and on the podcast.
Ain't that some shit?
Yeah.
All right.
On the
man.
podcast.
I'll be that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, wait, I got to
Yeah.
ask these guys. I got to ask this guy
Yeah.
this because
Yeah, no, they nailed it.
Hell yeah.
They nailed it, man.
Nice.
Yeah, I was more than happy.
Nice.
Yeah.
So is it live out there in the world now?
Yeah, it's
Nice.
live, man. These
What's
guys
the
have it.
feedback?
It's mostly good. The only negative feedback I get is going to be something regarding the Trump version of the ashtray.
Oh yeah,
Which
of
is
course,
like,
man.
listen, man, like, Like, get over it. That's the president, you know?
Yeah, you just gotta let people know if it would have been Kamala, you would have had a Kamala.
It would
one.
have been a Kamala. It would have been a Kamala, ashtray. But that's not how it went. It's the election year ashtray, which it'll be every 4 years. So I wanted to create something that we could do.
The cool thing is that next presidency,
term.
it can't be Trump. So you'll have a different
Right,
ashtray.
it'll be a different ashtray.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Shit.
Yeah, man.
You're never gonna make one for Trudeau, right?
No.
Good.
No, we're good. We're good on him.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I just, had to throw it out there.
That's cool. I caught it.
But so how many cigar lines so you have
Yeah.
I've seen this one. This is what a Corona, right?
Yeah. No. So right now I have 3. So we have the one that's in front of that ashtray, the Habano Oscuro.
This is the one you gave me.
That's what I gave you. This one right here is going to be the Barber Pole, which is a combination of the Habano Oscuro and Connecticut. And this is the Sweet Tip Connecticut right here.
Sweet tip.
Yeah, Sweet Tip Connecticut.
What does it have in? What makes it a sweet tip?
Yeah, so the very tip of it has a sweet texture to it. I'm not going to tell you what's in it, but
It smells like sandalwood.
yeah, Chinese secret, bro.
So look at this. You got 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah,
5.
and the 2 that you have to the far left there, my far left, those have not been released yet.
These 2?
Yeah, those 2. So I wanted to give you those because nobody's had those yet. I wanted to get your feedback on those.
We're gonna sit outside.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna pop up some chairs.
Yeah.
And I can care less.
Yeah.
We're gonna sit out here
Okay.
because I can.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have a cigar right outside the banquet space.
Let's do it, brother.
Because I think it's important.
Yeah.
This is great, man.
Man.
Brian, I'm so glad you came that one time we met,
Yeah.
and I was glad that you said you were going to do the podcast.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, man, I was like, man, I felt like it was like 10 months ago.
Yeah.
And it was only like 3 weeks ago. But so much has happened in 3 weeks.
Yeah, man.
We've had Christmas, New Year's.
Yeah.
It's insane, man.
It's flew by.
Are you feeling good?
I'm feeling great, man.
Nice.
I'm glad to be here, bro.
And we had a great conversation about your dad.
Yeah.
You were starting to talk about your dad.
Yeah, man. Just being transparent, me and my dad haven't always had the best relationship. So
Amen to that.
Yeah, man.
That's how I started.
But you know what? The crazy thing about it, I went to lunch with my dad yesterday. Hadn't seen him in, it's been some time, man. It's been some time.
Yeah.
Maybe been, maybe over a year, maybe a couple of years since I actually talked to him. And the first thing you said when I sat down to kind of put things in perspective was, you said you lost your dad.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
It's been 6 years.
That was the first thing you said, and I was like, damn.
You want to hear the
Here I am.
craziest?
Like, here I am, you know what I mean?
Got
like,
him.
My dad's here, and this
Yeah.
man has lost his father. Here I am talking about, I'm thinking, like, I haven't talked to my dad in 2 years, and he's here.
It's all right, man.
Yeah, so that put things in perspective, so I appreciate you doing that for me.
I've been there, and I know, so I'll tell you, when I lost my dad,
Yeah.
I had opened up a second company. I had 1961. We were still in the tiny little house we were at.
Yeah.
And I opened another brand because, I needed more things to do.
Yeah.
And it was called De Lucas. It was named after my son. Everybody loved the brand.
Yeah.
It was in a terrible spot.
Yeah.
I didn't open the brand because I wanted to. I wanted the space to grow and be able to produce more food. And it turned into a concept. Put more money in it than I needed to. And it opened late. We were out of money. My dad goes into the hospital.
Yeah.
I spent my last week with my dad, his last week on earth. I spent it with him in the hospital.
Wow.
I dropped everything I was doing. And I left in charge with one of my chefs, Patrick, who's still with me. He's actually my right hand.
Right.
And I got to go. And, man, that week with him
Yeah.
put it all in perspective. Dude, I came back.
Yeah.
So my dad and I, growing up, we didn't have a great relationship. We mended our relationship. And I missed a guy.
Yeah.
And that week, when he died, gave his last breath, we talked, and we had some great conversations. I went back, and I told my staff, I said, you know what? I'm done. I was like, you guys have 30 days. I'm gonna shut it down. And they're like, what? And everybody, I don't care. Even to this day, I don't care what people think. People are like, oh, you failed. I didn't fail. Because what I did is what I gained. I gained my family back. It's crazy because him dying reminded me that my kids needed me. I was going from one restaurant to the other, bouncing back and forth. And that was the toughest thing I ever did, you know. And yeah, did I lose money? Absolutely.
Right.
But I didn't lose my family.
Right.
And, you know, I tell that to people all the time. I
Yeah.
said, you know, you can lose something. You can lose your business, but your family will always be there.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest thing that was my biggest takeaway. And now I took everything I knew in Banquet 61, in DeLucas.
Yeah.
And I applied it, and I was given this restaurant here. I was able to move into the new 1961. And I took all that and grew the business tenfold. I mean, tenfold,
That's
Brian.
awesome, man.
Because my dad passed away.
Yeah.
And it sucks because
Yeah.
I miss the guy. You know, I miss all those memories, all those conversations.
Yeah.
My dad's barbecue was the best. You know, he would sit there and low and slow. We would
Yeah.
watch the UM game,
Yeah.
boxing. You know, he would read. He read like crazy. And those were, it was important, man. I always tell people, I said, don't lose sight of your family. You know,
Yeah.
you can lose everything around you, but your family is number one.
Yeah.
And when he died, you know, he made me realize that. And I put my kids and my wife, my wife's, we're going on 20 years. I put her in and then, you know, that's all I have.
That's awesome, man.
So,
Yeah.
you know, I know you said that about your dad.
Yeah.
I would say, you know, as adults, we make mistakes.
Yeah.
Our parents make mistakes.
Yeah.
And, you know, God made you as the better person.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
I think God made you that guy to say, hey, Dad, you know, I'm going to make that relationship work.
Yeah.
You know, because you don't know how many more years he has left.
Yeah.
You know?
It's true.
And man, I hate to talk like, you know, get all sobby.
Nah,
and,
man. Nah,
but,
man. It's
but I
necessary.
feel like
Yeah.
we've connected in a different
Yeah.
level.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that, man.
Yeah.
This is the deepest I've gotten on my podcast. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm glad I did that with you, Brian.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I'm glad you had me too,
It's
man.
tough.
I need to hear that today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. God bless you, bro.
Yeah, man.
I'm
And what's wilder for me is, you know, like
Cheers, man.
Like today, yeah, hell yeah. Like today was one of those days, man. I'm like, damn. To be honest with you, man, like it was just a rough day, you know. And I was like, damn, I got to get down here to Lakeland. And I'm a man of my word. When I say I'm gonna do something, like I do it.
Yeah.
But I ain't gonna bullshit you guys. I was not wanting to make this drive today. You know what I mean?
glad you did.
Yeah, and you know, because I had a rough day yesterday with my dad. It was a lot of emotions that I had that I was still trying to process. And it was just something, you know, I prayed about it before I got on the road. I was like, all right, God, all right, let's go. Right? And I'm glad I came. You know what I mean? Because we wouldn't have shared this, you know. So thank you, man. I'm glad to
Absolutely.
be here. Yeah.
Man, you know, God works in mysterious ways.
Ain't that crazy, man? Yeah. It really is. It really is. And it never amazes me. He never ceases to amaze me. You know?
Yeah. Shit. I feel like I needed to hear that.
Yeah.
It's nice to see someone that understands.
Yeah.
You know, I went through a rough patch with my
Yeah.
dad and you know, and I miss him like crazy. My nephew's phone, his
Yeah.
cell phone, is my dad's old phone number.
Wow.
So, and I never changed the picture.
So when he calls, it still pops up.
It still says dad.
Damn.
And I know it's my nephew.
Yeah.
But
still.
it's the only picture I got of him. Like on my phone.
Damn.
So I didn't change it.
Wow. Yeah, man.
I mean, it's the only. So I have a couple pictures, but it's the only picture of him, like, you know, with
Yeah.
that. My dad was like me, you know, like,
yeah.
you know. So every time I see him, I'm like, oh, it's my nephew.
Yeah.
You know, and I told my brother, and he was like, oh, that's badass.
That's dope, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, my nephew can't change his fucking number.
You got to keep
Yeah.
that line. That line has to always be open,
Yeah,
man.
because it's crazy because that's when my dad used to call me.
Yeah.
And I would stop everything. You know, I did a dish based on my dad.
Yeah.
And, you know, people ask me all the time, it's panko bistec.
Yeah.
And I go, my dad, when we were kids, he would pick me up, we'd have dinner, lunch, and then he'd drop me off. That was the extent of my relationship in the beginning as a kid. And he would make this panko bistec.
Yeah.
It was caramelized onions, the beef,
Yeah.
cheese, and mayonnaise on Cuban bread pressed.
Okay.
And that was it. And it was my favorite meal.
Yeah.
So I brought it over here. The last time my dad came into my restaurant, I had him try it. And he laughed. He was like, that was his laugh. That was his approval. And I was like,
dope.
I got him.
Yeah.
You know?
That's
So,
dope, man.
Yeah.
That's dope, man.
So that's cool.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Cheers, man. I'm glad we got to do this.
Yeah.
Brian, I'm really glad you came, man.
Yeah, man. I'm glad.
I know you. Now that talking to you, I know you didn't want to come, and,
Yeah.
and I'm glad you did.
Yeah, man.
Because it means a lot.
Yeah.
It tells me that we were in the right place.
Yeah. At the right time.
Yeah, I even think I got Jonathan over here crying.
Yeah, man. One of my favorite Bible verses is Proverbs 3-6. And to lead not to thy own understanding, right? I would direct thy paths.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite ones because a lot of times we always try to logic everything as humans. And
It's not, man.
You can't. Like the way he moves is beyond our logic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You could pray for something and you get something else.
You know what I mean?
And you're like, why?
Right.
And it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. Well, he could close the door and we're totally upset that door closed, but he's protecting us from something that we don't even have. It's just so awesome. It's awesome. So
God knows what he's doing, man. He's in charge.
Yeah, man. And
I'm not in charge.
No, we aren't.
No.
Never. We never are
No.
in charge.
No,
You know?
fuck, man. Look at that. You made me cry like.
Man. No, man.
You brought me some good tears, man. Some tears of joy.
It's all love, man. It
Yeah.
had to happen. You know, it was supposed to happen. And like I said, the first thing when I sat down, you gave me that everything that had been battling these last couple of days with my dad. And the first thing you said was, my dad wasn't here. I was like, damn, that's it.
Yeah, that was deep.
That's it.
Shit, that's what you needed to hear.
I needed to hear that.
Damn, man.
You know,
Let's have a cigar.
let's go get it.
Let's go outside and have a cigar.
Let's do it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, man. Thank you, brother.
Hey,
Thank you.
thank you.
Yep.
This guy is badass.